Welcome to week 3. It's been an amazing journey. If you guys could attest, if you've been doing your work very well, what you're supposed to do, what you're asked to do, you'll find out that the journey ahead is even more interesting. So, first of all, let me get some feedbacks from you guys. What has been any challenge, or what have you gotten through with? Have you understood more? Have you learned more? What have you been up to? Were you able to get yourself registered for the ISC2? Do you have any challenges? Just share with me.
I've not been able to register for it.
Okay.
For the ISC2.
Yeah. Yours is because of the complications on the registration, right?
Yes, I sent them an email, but I've not heard back from them.
They've not replied back.
Yes.
That's interesting. And you've tried to use another email and number, but they still refer that they still have your stuff, right?
I would like, maybe I should use another number again because
Look at what
with
you're going to,
another
yes.
separate email.
Yeah. Try a
What?
different number and a different email. Just a different number, phone number, and a different email. Let's see how it
Okay,
goes.
okay,
Okay.
I'll try that after the class.
Yes, because you see, that's why I was telling people to be very careful when entering their details, so that they wouldn't have to. This is an international, what's it called, training. So before
Yes.
they could get personal time to, even though more bigger companies actually have time to reply mails anyway, but it's a flop somehow. But I believe that we can do better. So, who next is it? Who's next there? I could see Augustine Jack. Who else has any feedback? So,
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
yeah, good afternoon.
So for the exams, I didn't want to register immediately. I wanted to register next first week of next month, so I can have a bit of time to prepare. And also I've joined the platform, but I checked it out and I don't think there is a um a center in Uyo.
You don't. It's not how you find sectors is during the exam. That's when they will schedule an exam for you. In Uyo is a big city. Uyo is a very big city and a very nice one too. So how the exam works is when you are done with this training, this program is not much, okay? And the way we structured it in such a way that you could be able to finish even this particular ISC2 training in 3 weeks. One of our students finished it in 2 weeks, okay? And it's not as though he sat at home to do it every day, every day. Just when you go through, their lessons are structured, short, bit-sized lessons to give you good understanding about what they are trying to pass through. So when the examination time reaches, that's after you've done the mock exam, because you need to do it to pass out from this particular boot camp. There is no next month passing out. It's a boot camp that you need to pass out from this particular boot camp so you can get ready for the next stage of your career. And I want to assure you that it's not something that should get you scared, or you have 24 hours of a day. Even if you bring out 2 hours every day, you are good enough for the program. So when the examination period, after doing the internal mock exam, then you'll be scheduled for that the exam. The main exam, I think they give up to like 2 weeks ahead for you to, so that you can have preparation time. So the exam is not immediately you schedule, you write. So I think it's either 2 weeks or a week ahead, because I will work with you guys when you're setting up your exam. You look at the calendar, you look at the date that is what's it called, feasible for you, or you also look at the date that is feasible for you within the week of that particular time period you want to take the exam. So you could book ahead. So I think the last guy that did, he booked for 2 weeks ahead. 2 weeks, I think so. 2 weeks ahead, so he could have enough time to do his revisions and all that. So I don't know whether you guys understand what I mean.
Okay, so from what you're saying, I can book a month ahead. Can I book a month ahead or like 3 weeks ahead?
Yes, you can do. I think you can do up to 2 weeks to 3 weeks ahead. Yeah, you can. Can. So all you have to do now is ensure that you go through the process as everybody else in the class is going through the process. Okay. Then for the external exam, you could actually now book 3 weeks ahead. So when you wait till next month to start the process, you're going to be taking the exam probably by the upper month, and you might not have the push and the zeal from us, okay? Because by then you're an ex student, but currently now you have much resources behind you, so that when you're booking, you could not book it for like 3 weeks ahead, and hopefully you might be shocked that you might also be able to book for 1 month ahead. But I've not booked for 1 month ahead before, because I've not had any reason to wait for 1 month. So that's it, guys. And if that's the case, so let me just give us a brief overview of the training ahead, since you guys have not had enough time to go on it. But you have this is the third week of this boot camp, and the remaining this third week, fourth week, fifth week is dedicated for this training and also your capstone project, where you have to do some practicals. And I think this time around for you guys cohort, people will be hacking a vulnerable database. So you are going to be performing a little hack, but in that hack, you will learn the vulnerabilities that are in this particular application, how to take advantage of these vulnerabilities. Then while doing it, you will now know better how to protect this kind of applications. Okay. So the scenario is like this. I show you this application is vulnerable. It has loopholes. Look at how to make use of these loopholes against the system. By so doing, you already now know how to look out for this kind of loopholes in a system to protect it when you're protecting a system. Do you guys understand me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yes, let's move ahead. Okay, reiterating our learning goals one more time for this boot camp. You getting the foundations of cybersecurity. In this boot camp, you're expected to gain essential knowledge of cybersecurity concepts, including threats, vulnerabilities, and defense mechanisms. You're expected to get introduction and basic knowledge about Security Operations Center, which we treated on week 2, to understand the basic roles of a SOC and a SOC analyst, how they operate, and its importance in safeguarding organization. So, and we also expected to do a hands-on penetration testing with Bob Suite to learn to conduct basic penetration tests on OWASP Juice Shop. OWASP Juice Shop is the name of the application that is built intentionally with vulnerabilities, so that learners can learn with it. Okay. Then at the ends, you're going to explore some interactive platforms like Try Hack Me and Hack the Boss, where you could practice real world hacking and penetration techniques and cybersecurity techniques. So these also, I wanted to reiterate the learning goals to let you know that we are still on track. If for any reason you feel like you're not getting you're not getting the flow of the training, you could always let me know where you're lacking behind so that you get maximum input from the training. Any questions here?
No, no question from my end.
Okay. Augustine, what about you?
Same, no questions, sir.
Okay, let's move ahead then. So when you register, meanwhile, congratulations, guys, for those who have registered, you already and what do they call it? A candidate of ISC2, and also not just a candidate, you're a community member of this international forum. So congrats once more for getting this milestone covered. So when you get to your courses page, you're expected to move in to do the training. Their interface has changed from the last time we took, and that's interesting. So first of all, the course objectives. To discuss the foundational concept of cybersecurity principles. The second one is to recognize foundational security concepts of information assurance. The third will be to define risk management terminologies and summarize the process. Then the fourth will be to relate risk management to personal or professional practices. Okay. Then to classify types of security controls, to distinguish between policies, procedures, standards, regulations, and laws. You also look into demonstrating the relationship among governance elements. I believe that should be the GRCs. So these are the course objectives that this ISC2 training holds. And at the end of this training, what you're going to learn here, plus what the bootcamp, everything together will give you a sound knowledge to kickstart your career as an intern. And also, who knows, there are some organizations that they will value the knowledge you have here and keep you on a payroll on their systems, on their IT sector, and fund your training ahead for the company. So let's move ahead. For, I think, for domain one, you're going to look at to analyze appropriate outcomes according to the canons of the ISC Code of Ethics. Just a minute, someone sent a message. Okay. Yeah. There are some of the students who were in the previous code. So the second one is also to, let me put this on do not disturb the vibration. When you analyze appropriate outcomes according to the canons of ISC2, that means you're going to know what is the ISC2 Code of Ethics when given. Then also you practice the terminologies and review security principles. This is in domain one. You explain how organizations respond to, recover from, and continue to operate during unplanned disruptions. Then finally, in domain one, you recall the terms and components of incident response. Okay, let me bridge here. What do you think is an incident response? When you say that someone is in incident response team, what do you think the person does, or what do you think the team does? Let me hear from you guys. What your thoughts are.
Okay, they are the one that respond to like cyber security related issues like attacks. They'll be like maybe they'll be the guys to like the SOC are the ones who look out for the attacks, but the incident response will be like the first guys to like respond to the attack and try to fix whatever causes the issue or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. When the SOC guys get the alerts of the incidents, they push it over to the appropriate teams that will take care of it. So the incident response team are always there to take up from where the SOC guys are from, have left over. Most times, the SOC guys too are in the incident response team. Of course, they are all inside there because what they do to respond to incidents. Once they see IOCs are indicators of compromise, and indicators of compromise can range from a what's it called? There are some trails left behind by people who, the threat actors. When someone comes to a system to perform an unauthorized action, the logs keep the trails of what these people are doing. So when alerts from the SIM tools trigger these stuffs, the SOC guys, they see it, they make moves, create an alert, raise tickets, and issue it out to the incident teams so they take over from them. It's nice. Okay, on domain 2, you summarize the components of a business continuity plan. Okay, you understand what a business continuity plan is. For example, when businesses are being attacked, okay, and this continuity plan ensures that why remediation, what's it called? Why fixing the issues is going on, that businesses don't have to shut down. Okay, so you understand also to identify the components of disaster recovery. When there is a havoc, how and when are the processes of recovering back from the last good point. For example, when you do what's the most relatable disaster recovery? When you do backup, yes. When your WhatsApp, when you back up your WhatsApp and something happens and you recover your WhatsApp, what you do is to recover your backup. So the backup will take you back to the last saved port. So that's what the disaster recovery team guys, they do. So you also practice the terminology of and review incident response, business continuity, and disaster recovery concepts. You select access controls that are appropriate in a given scenario, relate access control concepts and processes to given scenarios. Then finally, you compare various physical access controls. Now, in domain 3, you describe logical access controls. You practice the terminologies of access controls and review concepts of access controls, where you explain the concept of network security, recognize common networking terms and models. You also identify common protocols and ports and their secure counterparts. Alongside, you identify network types and cyber threats and attacks in domain 3. Moving over to domain 4, you will be able to discuss common tools used to identify and prevent threats. You will also identify common data center terminologies, recognize common cloud service terminologies too. Identify secure network design terminologies. Then you practice the terminology of and review network security concepts. Then you also go ahead to explain concept of security operations, discuss data handling practices, and also identify important concepts of logging and monitoring of data. Then finally, you summarize the different types of encryption and their common uses. So when you look at this training, you see that it is fully packed with information. It is fully packed. So it's advised that when going through it, I tell the students, get a good note. Don't get a note that you're going to tear or throw away tomorrow. get a tick cover for your training, because it is very, very important that you keep details of all these. They will help you and you'll still get back to them in the future, in the career. So in domain 5, you describe the concept of configuration management, explain the application of common security policies, while also discussing the importance of security awareness training. Then you practice the terminology of and review the concepts of network operations. So from here, the next thing that will happen is after this code of ethics, when you're logging in, you do your first initial mini mock. So it is, like I told you guys, it's just a way to gauge your knowledge base, to know your knowledge base before the training. It's not going to affect your certificate. It's not going to affect anything, but it's just a knowledge gauge. So let's look into the ISC2 Code of Ethics. All information security professionals who are certified by ISC2 recognize that such certification is a privilege that must be both earned and maintained. In support of this principle, all members are required to commit to fully support this code of ethics. Now, the code. The code says that ISC2 members who intentionally or knowingly violate any provision of the code will be subject to action by a peer review panel, which may result in the revocation of their certification. ISC2 members are obligated to follow the ethics compliant procedure upon observing any action by an ISC2 member that breaches the code. Failure to do so may be considered a breach of the code pursuant to Canon 4. There are only 4 mandatory canons in the code. By necessity, such high-level guidance is not intended to be substitute for ethical judgment of professionals. See, this code of ethics is very, very important because in some exams, especially in the main exam, they're going to ask of it too. Now, you will be in a state where you will have to choose, make a decision that is going to be between the code of ethics or the ethical judgment of professionals. So in the sense whereby you might be able to choose, okay, if this happens, what do I do? Okay, does it align with the code of ethics? Okay, if it aligns with the code of ethics, which is higher now? Is it the ethical judgment of professionals or this ethical, what's that? Meeting, victory, 5 minutes. Okay. I just got in a note now that in 5 minutes time, we'll be taking a break to switch over to the next room. Okay, let me share the next room in the WhatsApp meeting so that in 5 minutes time, once we take our break, a coffee break, you all should use the next link to join. So, coming in 1, 2, 3, go. It's on the WhatsApp group now. So more on the ISC2 Code of Ethics, the Code of Ethics Preamble, and the Code of Ethics Canons. So the first one on the Ethics Preamble says the safety and welfare of the society and the common good, duty to our principals and to each other, requires that we adhere and be seen to adhere to the highest ethical standard of behavior. You don't intentionally go to do wrong. You don't intentionally go to hack a system. You don't intentionally go to hack a system without obtaining necessary permissions from the owners of the system. As a cybersecurity intern or staff or a member of ISC2 community, you are expected to adhere and exercise ethical standards of behavior. So therefore, strict adherence to this code is a condition of certification. Now, the Code of Ethics Canons says you protect the society, you protect the common good and necessary public trust and confidence and the infrastructure. Then also you act honorably, honestly, justly, responsibly, and legally. Then you provide diligent and competent service to principals, while also you advance and protect the profession. So these are the Code of Ethics canons for cybersecurity ISC2 community, and it is tied to your membership to the team. So, like I said, the next thing from here should be a look into the portal. Let me see how we're gonna do that now. Okay. Tell me anyway, before we wrap up on this particular session, tell me, what do you think about these codes of ethics? What do you think about code? Is it even nice to have code of ethics in this profession? Or is okay for everybody to wake up and do whatever he wants to do without actions or without payment or being what's it called, being held to action? What do you think, guys?
The code are definitely necessary so that to keep things in order.
Augustine, what do you think?
Yeah, like he said, it could cause the cybersecurity skills is that skill that gives you an edge in the cyberspace. So it can get to people's head, seeing that you can have access to people data and information. So this ethics and this code of ethics rather are like checks and balance to keep people in place and to set a perimeter so you don't exceed past your
Privileges.
yeah. So that's it. It's quite necessary.
Okay. It's all right. Oh, that's good. So we're going to take a 5 minutes break. Then you log in back with the second link on the WhatsApp. Okay.
All right, sir.
Now, this is a pre-look or a preview of the training portal. If you have already gone there, you will see. So what we did, I think we went through the course introduction now. So this is the pre-course, the pre-assessment, the mini mock that you guys are going to take. So if you click it, you'll see the pre-assessment information. The time recommended is 200 minutes. That's 2 minutes per question, and it has 100 questions. There is one correct answer per question, 4 attempts per question. Completing the pre-assessment is not required to obtain your final digital certificate. See this. So you take it and use it and gauge your level before the training. So by the end, you're going to take another one, which will determine whether you'll be able to go through for the main exam. So let's look into domain 1. So what we're going to be doing is basically to go through their questions and their introduction. So the overview in domain 1, that is security principles. Security principles of the CC certified in cybersecurity and provides artificial intelligence-led adaptive learning to tailor to you the unique needs in real life. Now, the learning objectives, we've already talked about it before. Learning objectives of the security principles, and also the topics included are identity assurance, privacy control mechanisms, safeguarding data, and strategic risk management. Okay. some key informations, 100% progress. And I forgot to tell you guys, for every of the domain you pass as you're doing this training, you earn a badge. You earn a badge. Okay. After the training, I'm going to show you guys what the badges look like on the WhatsApp. So for each of the badge you earn, you could flaunt it on your social media as someone who has gone through this particular training and has gotten what's it called? An idea and the prerequisite skill on this particular domain. So it's a nice thing too. So let's go in. Domain, which is I need to take guys back to the first one. Risk is not the first one. They are updating us based on the, let me check, based on how to start from the beginning and not from where I was left up. It's a very interesting one. You see, the training one, this progress of competency, 54%, content cover 33%. So that's the analytics, sorry. You could check how your progress is over time on the core sectors of this security principle domain, this first domain. Okay. So let's go back. I want to take you guys back to chapter 1. Hope you're gonna. I want to go to chapter 1. Domain 1, security principles. Okay. Without going through the training, let me hear you guys. Please unmute. So I think this is a practical one. Everyone unmute. Who is responsible for determining risk tolerance in an organization? The executive management and board of directors, all employees, external consultants, or the risk management team? Who do you think is responsible for determining risk tolerance in an organization?
Should be the risk management team.
Yeah. Any other answer?
I mean, risk tolerance. Okay. I'd go for the risk management team as well.
Yes.
But I think there are multiple. Okay.
Continue. Let me hear you.
But I think you can, this particular question, it's possible the answer is more than one. So then I'll go for the risk management team.
Okay. They say you can select one or more
One or
questions,
more.
one or
Yes,
more
I'm trying
answers.
to say, yeah.
So which other one will you choose? Which other one will you choose?
That's what.
Executive management.
Executive management, yeah, and board of directors.
Okay. Now, in the way most companies actually do it, the executive management and board of directors, they are aware of whatever the risk management guys are to implement. Like they kind of provide those policies so that the risk management team will be able to provide it. So if you guys go for that, we'll choose the two of them and see what's now. What is your confidence rating in the choice, the answer of your choice? I believe you guys' confidence is 100, and the risk management team, the confidence rating is 100. So let's check the answer. Incorrect.
Wow.
Now, why is it incorrect? You have to go through the content to find out why it is incorrect. So if I'm going to answer the question myself, I would choose what action is suggested to mitigate. Oh, they've taken away the first one. Let's go back to it again. They moved us to the next answer. Who is responsible for determining the risk tolerance? I would choose the risk management team alone. Let me see whether they are going to give us the option to retry it again. And we have 4 trials for this particular. For any of the questions, you have 4 trials for, I think 4. You try us for the answers. Yeah. They're not bringing it up. If you watch over here, you see that there is as you are walking, the system is updating your scores and the stuffs you've already gotten. So what action is suggested to mitigate the risk associated with a threat? What action is suggested to mitigate the risk associated with a threat? Is it strengthen the vulnerability, or increase the likelihood of the event, or ignore the threat and its impact, or evaluate the likelihood of the event and take proper actions to mitigate the risk? What action? Yes. What you get?
Evaluate the likelihood of the event and take appropriate actions to mitigate the risk. Also, you can also strengthen the vulnerability.
What
I would
actions
say I would say
is
just evaluate.
oh, okay.
Just evaluate.
Suggested to mitigate
So
the
D.
risks. Now you will understand that when you're going through your training, you understand that there are risks when risks are being evaluated. So you're looking at, is this risk, can we take on this risk? If it's something that we can overlook, or is it something that we want to push over to another people to help us take the cost? For example, the insurance companies. What insurance companies do is that they take some risk away from you, and you push the risk over to them. So there are some risks as a company you will look at. Let's ignore this. Probably when you hear that somebody wants to, or is scrolling through your website. Okay, there's a risk that the person has a reason of scrolling through your website. Okay, that risk is very small. But when you hear that somebody is trying to scrap the contents of your website, there is also a risk attached to that. Why is he scrapping the contents of the website? What does it want to do? What is it looking for? Then when you now find out, or when someone tells you that there is someone is trying to access your database, then that's the risk. So do you overlook that kind of risk, or do you mitigate it, or will you put things in place to? So when you're going through the risk course, when you're doing your training here, you will understand all those stuffs around the risk, and it will help you answer correctly most of these questions that are coming here. So the action that is suggested to mitigate the risk associated with a threat. So someone said evaluate the likelihood of the event, one, then take appropriate actions to mitigate the risk. Now, when you're evaluating the likelihood, you are looking at, okay, will it happen or will it not happen? When it happens, is it something serious? Will it be something serious? Will it disrupt business? You see, one of the main things you should also keep in mind when evaluating risk is, and also incidents in cybersecurity is, the main thing is to ensure that business continuity goes on, to ensure that business goes on as usual. So anything you're doing and business is not going to be going on is not really, how do I put it, will not be clapped for. But whatever you're doing, have business continuity at the back of your mind. And that is how cybersecurity evaluates your efficiency. Okay. Okay, let's choose the evaluate the likelihood that the event will take place and take proper actions. And we'll rate our confidence rating to 100%, and we'll check. And it is the correct answer. Okay. So they said, explanation, in order to mitigate the risk associated with a threat, it is recommended to evaluate how likely an event is to take the place, and also take appropriate actions to mitigate the risk associated with the threat. Honestly, I would have loved to, go back to think the first ones, so that we could, Yeah. Let's see. What's disclaimer? Continue. Code of ethics. Okay. Continue. Code of ethics. Cost overview. Continue. Continue. So please do well this week. Ensure that whatever you can do to get registered. If you have not registered, if you have not started, ensure that you get started, and so you could be able to move on with the contents of your training. Is very, very important. Very, 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 very important. Return to home page. Learning history of learning. So I try to start from beginning, but until I finish the process, I think they will still keep on pushing it back to the place we left it over. So let's continue to take up some more questions from there and go ahead. This is the importance of governance elements. This is about almost the last topic in Domain 1, which is security principles. So what we are doing is off the head, what's it called? Going through the questions without going through the training. So you guys can know how far what you've learned all this while have been there or your range before you continue. So this whole question says, which regulation grants data protection and control to individuals within the EU, European Union, regardless of citizenship? Which regulation grants data protection and control to individuals in EU? We also have this for Nigeria. Yes. So we also have this for Nigeria and some TTPR. Then HIPAA, I think HIPAA is in EU also. Likewise in GDPR should be for USA, I think so. So who answered HIPAA? Augustine, is that you or?
Yeah, HIPAA is for health insurance.
Actually, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act is one of the major data protection and control policies that is in place. So we have the International Organization for Standardization. We also have the Data Security and Compliance Act. Then we have the General Data Protection Regulation. So if you are bouncing ideas, you're bouncing ideas possibly based in the first and the last one. But I'll go with the person who chose health. So when we fail it together. I hope we won't fail it because our hope is on you. Let's check. And you got it. No, you didn't. So EU, basically what they do is this particular health insurance portability is for health sector. Okay. Now, regardless of citizenship in EU, the General Data Protection Regulation should be able to cover that. You understand, right? So now they've taken it back. So when you're taking it, you see the ones that we failed and the ones that we've gotten. But more importantly, ensure that when you're going through the clips, they give little video clips before they ask the questions. And inside those clips, you will get the information required or the training required the knowledge required to be able to answer some of those questions. So in the risk identification, they say, how do you identify risk? Do you walk down the street watching out for traffic and looking for puddles on the ground? Maybe you've noticed loose wires at your desk or water on the office floor. If you're already on the lookout for risk, you fit with other security professionals who know it is necessary to dig deeper to find possible problems, risk. So going through these also will help you to prepare you ahead of the next question, which is going to be a question on risk. Now, here is this question here. It says, what role might security professionals play in risk assessment at a system level? What role might security professionals play in risk assessment at a system level? Delegating risk assessment to employees, assisting in risk assessment at a system level. solely focusing on strategic plans or ignoring the risk assessment activities?
Delegating risk assessment to employees.
Okay. I said delegating risk assessment to employees. Austin, what's your choice?
I'll say assisting in risk assessment.
Okay. What role might security professionals play in risk assessment? Assisting in risk assessment at the system level. Okay. Now, they also do strategic plannings, but it's not solely what they are doing. They also delegate risk assessment to, do they delegate risk assessment to employees? No, but to some extent, they let the employees know the risks that are available or that are around their industry. So let's go with assisting in risk assessment at a system level. If we got it correct, good. If we didn't, when you're going through the training, when you're going through the video and the material behind it, you'll be able to get the answer. And yes, you got the answer. Explanation. Security professionals are likely to assist in risk assessment at a system level, also focusing on the process and control, and also monitoring or incident response and recovery activities. See, so below the answers, you also see risk, related content in case you want to read or go through related contents. So you can also open up and go ahead. So continuing, who is responsible for identifying risk within an organization? Only top security professionals, only top level executive, employees at all levels of the organizations, only those involved in risk management.
It should be employees at all levels of the organization.
Okay, Austin, what do you think?
Yes, I'm going with that answer too.
Okay, so what's the confidence rating?
100.
Okay, let's check. Yes, you got it. Employees at all levels of the organization are responsible for identifying risk. If you remember in the SOC, during the when we are talking about SOC, we figured out that during the early times, when an incident or a system has been compromised, that mostly majority of the times, the people who notice it are not even the company, but external people. People, in fact, their customers or their users are the people who get the first information that I think something is wrong. Then when they not alert the company, and the company will not take action. Yeah. So let's go to the next one. What are security controls? Okay, this is the topic here, security controls. Then after the topic, we'll go over to the question. Let's go over to the question and have a look at it. What is an example of physical control? Okay, controls are physical. There are types of controls. You'll learn that in the material behind. So what are examples of physical controls?
Walls, fences, guards, locks.
Yeah. So we'll choose them. Then when you go through the material, you know password policies, what type of controls are they? What type of controls are access control, then firewall settings, what type of controls they are. So what's our confidence rating for here?
100.
100, yes. We'll check and we'll get the answer. So we'll go ahead. Say physical controls are implemented through tangible mechanisms. They have to be something physical. And examples include walls, fence, guards, locks, etc. Yeah. We also have related content in case you want to study more. So let's go ahead. A chief information security officer, the CISO, at a large organization documented a policy that establishes the acceptable use of cloud environments for all the staff. What did he do? He documented a policy that establishes an acceptable use of cloud environments, cloud resources. So what are we going to call this? This is an example of a what? Managerial stroke administrative control, technical control, physical control, or cloud control.
I'll go management and administrative control.
Okay. Austin, what do you think?
Administrative control.
Chief Information Security Officer at a large organization documented a policy that establishes the acceptable use of cloud environments or stuff. Okay. Nobody wants to choose cloud control.
I don't think there
There is nothing like cloud control.
Yes.
Okay. Well, how do you know there's something like technical control or physical control?
But I don't really know that.
Technical control are those controls. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. What's the confidence rating here?
Around 100%.
Okay. And you're correct. Management stroke administrative control. And why do you think it's management? First of all, why do you think it's management?
The chief of the information security officer.
Yeah, this guy is a top, yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. They are the executives of the company, the CISO.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So that is one of the reasons why the answer we chose is correct. Policies, running out of time. How many minutes more do we have? Yeah. Policies, standards, processes, procedures, and guidelines set by corporate administrative entities. Executive and or mid-level management are all management stroke administrative controls. You see? So the controls or policies given by the people that are in the corporate administrative roles or executive or mid-level management roles, they are termed management stroke administrative controls. And we continue. I have a good feeling that you guys are going to make the exams. You're going to pass the exams. So I believe so. So these are theoretical example of code of ethics. So you go through it. Like you can see, the training packages on this ISC2, they are brief, they are short and concise. So it's something you can actually, before you sleep, you might do a domain, one of the domains. Before you sleep, you do one of the domains. And 1 week, you've done the 5 domains and you're ready for your exam. So according to the code of ethics, what are information security professionals expected to uphold? According to the code of ethics, is it creativity and innovation, or be honorable, honest, just and responsible with legal conduct, or efficient and speedy decision-making, or secrecy and confidentiality? According to the code of ethics, what are the information security professionals expected to uphold?
Be honorable, honest, just, and responsible within legal conduct.
Yes. Austin, do you think so?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll choose that. What is our confidence rating? 50
100%.
or 100?
100.
Okay.
100.
Okay. So check. And yes, we got it correctly. It says information security professionals are expected to uphold honorable, honest, just, responsible, and legal conduct as mentioned in the code of ethics. Okay. So continuing, we have authentication. We'll go through authentication and we'll answer the questions on authentication. Multi-factor authentication involves using 2 or more instances of different authentication factors. Which of the following are considered a widely accepted factor for authentication? Multi-factor authentication involves using 2 or more instances of different authentication factors. Which of the following are considered a widely accepted factor for authentication?
I think they're all correct.
Okay. You have somewhere you are.
Oh, sorry. Somewhere you are. No. Something you are. I didn't read the
Yeah.
first one properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So always ensure
Some,
that you read all.
yes.
Something you are,
Yeah, something you know,
something
like your
you know.
password,
Yes.
and then something
Then
you have.
something you have. Like
Yeah.
the bankers will have what's it called? What's that stuff? The
Token
hardware
or
token. Yes, the hardware token.
yes.
So,
Yes.
Austin, what do you think?
Yes, I agree.
You always agree.
No,
Uh,
those are the two-factor authentication system.
yeah, what's the
So
confidence
of course I
rating
agree.
for something you are?
Something you have. Go for 100.
And what about something you know as your password?
100 as well.
Yeah. Then something you
Something.
have. So we
100
said
as
that
well.
something you have can be your token. So what about
Yes.
something you know? Example of
Your
something you know.
password, your PIN
Okay.
code,
What about something you are?
you are. I think
Biometric.
that would be the biometric.
Yes,
Yeah. Your
exactly.
facial fingerprint. Yeah.
Exactly. So we check and we are correct. So something you know, example password, something you have, example token, something you are, biometrics are widely accepted authentication factors. That's very nice. So go ahead. Uh, Professional code of conduct. Go through the material, then while taking the certification exam for this certification, you will notice another candidate for the certification cheating. What should you do?
We are good, sir. We mind our businesses.
Uh, well, since they want an answer, I'll go for a report candidate to ISC2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Austin,
So
what's
sir,
your
we
own
can't we
answer?
can't we maintain the bro code?
I mean, in reality, we maintain the broken, but but since they deserve and they want an answer, yeah, I'll go
Okay.
for ultra.
So I
Okay.
guess report the candidates.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
answer here, the first person says, the first option says, yell at the other candidates for violating test security. Second one say call law enforcement. Third one say report the candidate to ISC2. Then the fourth one said
No, none
nothing.
of my shit.
Each person is responsible for their own action. Okay.
That B is way too much.
Yeah, you call the police for the person. Okay. Um, Report the candidate to IC2. That's what you guys chose. What's your confidence rating?
Yeah, about 100%.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's check the answer. Correct. So if you have chosen to do nothing, you are wrong. If you have chosen to call the law enforcement, you are wrong. Yell at organization. But there are instances, let's say outside, so far as if where you are is not in the environments of ISC2, you have the right to actually either call the law enforcement or you do nothing. But whatever you do, remember the codes that we read. Yeah, it has to be to in honor and protection of goods, properties, and lives. But lives comes first. Lives comes first. To ensure safety of life, then goods and properties. So when you are in a position where you have to choose one, you choose life first. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you choose life
Yes.
first. So yeah, someone will not see that a building is on fire. You are running to go and bring documents. That is very important. You will die there. You will not come out. And both you and the information you want to go and save will burn. So, but life first, then before goods and properties. So they said the preamble to the ISC2 Code of Ethics requires that ISC2 membership requires that we adhere and be seen to adhere to the highest ethical standard of behavior. Cheating violates this standard. ISC2 has enforcement mechanisms for ensuring members do not cheat. For example, when I took my own exams, the center I went, I think I was the only one that took on that day. So I was the only one in the whole hall. But the cameras, there are cameras in the hall. So, and when you get there, there's the instructions, keep your hands visible. They will give you a marking sheet in case you want to write something. But your hands must be on top of your desk, visible at all times throughout the exam. So if I write, maybe in 10, 15 minutes, one of the supervisors will come around, walk around, look at what is happening, then go. So it's a fun experience. So let's go to the next question. Oh, we have less than a minute. Okay, let's wrap it up here so that once you guys get into the training, we take it off from there. When we come next week, we'll look at the next domain also and see whether we could go through some more domains. Then on the 4th, this is the 3rd week, right? And the 4th week is next week. Then when we enter the